transfer some tags in the database and ENVD, as Sheree initially pointed out. So, my name's George. I work in Elizabeth's team, the operations team. I've been around since 1999 on the system, so barring any issues with my laptop, things will run smoothly. Elizabeth did say you can't break the system, so go in there, run a few reports, and I'll show you how to do that. So the first thing is we'll log in. So the URL is just NLIS.com.au, and this is the home page. Now we're going to log in via MyMLA, which is fairly new, and the purpose of using MyMLA is you can put all your accounts into one, and I'll go through some of those in a second. So if you haven't got an account, you request one. I've got one already, so I'll log in. So this is my home page for MyMLA. I've already got my NLIS accounts list linked here, and as I said, accounts, I've got more than one, and you can link more. So you can link your LPA account, as I said, NLIS, My Feedback, or ENVD. So we're going to go into NLIS, which I have already linked. I've got two accounts here. We're going to be using this test prod, which is my producer account. So we'll log in. And this is the page. So first thing I'll show you are the help tools. So click on help up here. Help tools. And we're into sheep individual, which is what we're doing today. And there's a list of probably 25 or 30 tech tips to help you. Some of these are quite old. It's August 2012, but that hasn't changed. So there's some new ones here, some old ones, but there's a lot of guides. And I'll show you where the other help tools are as well through the process. So go back to home. And the first thing I do is I click on hide this header. I don't need these anymore. Just gives us more real estate. Now I'm going to work with sheep today, but if I wanted to change this, you go, I want to change my types of livestock. So if you've been using your NLIS for your cattle, and now when you use it for your sheep, click on change my livestock types, and then you can, so we're not going to use that anymore, or we've just added sheep in, and you hit continue. So now that's missing. So when you log in, if you don't have sheep individual or goat individual, or even cattle in this case, you can just add that in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and do a transfer of some sheep. So I want to. We've done this change my types of livestock. View edit my account. If you want to update your email address, this is where you click in to update your email address. And this section here, notify the database of, is changing statuses or moving an animal. Now, if an animal dies in your paddock, you click on device status and type the tag number in and move on. Today, we're just going to go through livestock moved onto my property. Elizabeth mentioned that it's your responsibility if you are receiving livestock to ensure they transferred within 2 days. So I'll click on livestock moved onto my property. There we go. And we're going to type in the details manually on screen. If we have a stick reader, some of those people with readers, panel readers and stick readers, software can do it for you, create a file, you can upload it. But today we're going to use this. I want to type it in manually on screen. So 6 pieces of information. The first thing we'll do is I've already got these copied. So there's a list of tags. Now you notice I've got the visual tag, and I've also got the RFID. It's just to show you, most of the time you only have one of them. If you have your scanner, you'll scan one of them only. So there's a combination of both visual tags and electronic tags. Where are they moving to? I've got 2 properties to go onto this property, QDZZ3333. they're coming from QBZZ2222. These are my test picks, which we use for training purposes. Again, Elizabeth mentioned, type in the NVD serial number. Now let's make one up. They're moving today. That's asking for the number of head. And the reason why it does that, in the initial stages of EID, electronic EID, you don't have to tag every single animal. So in the process, we're only tagging sheep born in this year. So you may have 10 tags and 12 animals. So the system wants you to recognize that there's 10 tags, 10 animals and 12 tags. Sorry, other way around, beg your pardon. So the number of animals you've got is 12, but only 10 of them are tagged. So that's why we asked this second question here. So you could say, well, there's actually 20 animals, but these are the only ones that are tagged. The others were born a year ago. We continue. It's asking us to verify that you send them to this property, from this property, that NVD serial number, and the number ahead is 20. Again, there's not 20 tags there, because not every animal is tagged. They don't have to be. So this is an interim measure. Obviously, after 2027, everything has to be tagged. We click send. Just now sending that to the database. The other thing that Elizabeth mentioned is make sure you record the receipt number. If someone does it for you, if you do it, there's always a receipt number. In this case here, there's the official receipt number. Now, because we uploaded this particular file, it's doing two things at once. It's saying, well, 20 moved, but here are the 10 tags. So it gives us, here's the 10 tags and 20 moved. So we'll look at your transaction history. So I'll just upload this file and look at what I have just done. Click on view my transaction history. I want to see everything I've done today, from the 24th of July to the 24th of July today. We continue. And this is the file we uploaded just now. That's the number that had number 10, you recall. And these two are the individual uploads, the one with the 10 tags and the one with the 20 head. And we've got a warning message. Now we're moving animals in between EU properties and non-EU properties, so we get a warning message. The warning means it went through. However, there were issues. And this one here, both the tags are the same. It's saying the animal was not on the property. It was on a different property. So the animal was registered on property A in the database, but it moved from property B to C. And that's that system transfer. So animal was registered to property A, but I moved it from property B to C. On property C, I'm receiving the animal, so this has come from property B. The database has recognised it's actually still on the original property it was born on, property A. Therefore, it puts this warning up. Still does the transfer. This is called a system transfer, and it completes the movement. We'll close that. We'll go back home. So we've done the job. 9 of the 10 went through, no problem. 1 went through with an issue. Now, if you want to use any other species, you just select from here again, but we'll keep it on sheep individual. Now we're just going to run a basic report. We're going to go and say, view generator reports. So there's a whole heap of different reports here. I'll use this one first, search the pick register. This is one of our most popular reports. If you get an email with this warning, someone says, well, who owned that property? Who owned this pick QBZZ222? Put that in. And there's the details of the owner. That's me. There's the details of the owner of this particular property. So search the pick register, quite a popular report that people run, and it gives them these basic details. Go back home. And the other report I'll show you, Click on View Journal Reports. There you go. Now we want to see what has moved onto my property. So livestock transferred onto my property. We want to see what's moved onto this property. What moved on today? And there's the 9 tags that I had in that list. So that was that NVD number that I used. There's the 9 tags that I put in there. So you can see straight away that transaction happened. If someone tells you, I did the transfer on your behalf. So if the receiver, which is you buying the animal, have asked someone else to do it for you, log in and check. Sometimes the seller will say, look, I'll scan all the animals, I'll do the transfer. So always go in and check because it is your responsibility. So you go into livestock transferred onto my property, and you can only see what's on your property. So what's moved onto this property in this time frame. So if you buy animals from the sale yard, go in and have a look. So there's a list there. Now, if you wanted these tags, you can export the tag numbers. Click on Export, select the fact that you want the RFID or the NLIS ID or both. Excuse me. So there's list of the tags. And you can export that into your tag bucket file system. And a lot of people use their tag bucket files. So that's your tag bucket file. Go back home. I want to and we'll view my transaction history. We went through this already, but we'll go through it again. Look at what's happened the last few days. They're all the transactions that have happened in this account. So always go through and check that they are complete, or worst case scenario, they're warning. If there's an error, the transfer for that tag or tags in that list did not occur. So just make sure you're always checking. So pretty simple, do the transfer and check. So the next page is ENVDs. So to get an ENVD, it's another version of the book. As was pointed out, as Elizabeth pointed out, it's current. You've always got a current version if you're using the electronic one, and it's always stored for you. And the other thing that she also raised was you can't answer yes and no to the same question. A lot of people just tick, were the animals born here? Yes. How long have they been here? 2 to 6 months when they're grown steers or heifers. So this prevents people from making mistakes. So from your home page, only if you have logged in via MyMalay. If you haven't logged in via MyMalay, you can't access it. Only way to access your ENVDs, your LPA ENVDs is via the MyMalay login. So we'll go down to the bottom, view my ENVDs. Now I was testing a couple of days ago and created a consignment. So these are going to Greenhams in Tasmania. We're going to create a new one. So that's my login. I click on Create New Consignment. I've created a template and I'll show you how to create a template. So you go and grab them from scratch. Where they go into, we'll use Longford this time. So there we go. We're going to go to JBS Longford. Click on that. When are they going? They're going tonight at 9 p.m, 9:10 p.m. Makes it easy to click. We're sending cattle, sheep. So we're going to send cattle. We're just doing an NVD. The other thing Elizabeth mentioned is you can have multiple forms. So if you're part of other programs that show up here, if you want to do a health declaration, and some plans require a health declaration. So you do them both together. I'll only select the NVD for now. And then you start adding live type descriptions, number of head, 5, read, selected, no, 5 head. So we just added that. We can add more, just like you would with the NVD book. You've got 4 lines there on the NVD book. Just going to keep going. We're not going to answer this question. We're just going to keep going. Otherwise, we'll be here for about 4 or 5 minutes. The same sorts of questions. So read and understood the terms. Hit next. Be submitted. You can still make some minor changes, which is good. Obviously, one of the problems is you don't know all the time how many animals you can fit on there. You might go out there, one might have jumped the fence. So you can always adjust some details. And you've got 7 days to do it. It's 7 days to do it after the movement we submitted. And this is now the ENVD. Looks like all the other ENVDs you've always played with. So that's what we just added. We didn't answer any of these questions. So we've created, we've submitted, and it's all done. We can duplicate this, create a new template now. And when you've opened the ENVD, you can save it, click on save, and then email it to, in this particular case, email it to the customer. So this is the one we did, sorry. The 5 steers. You save it and email it to, in this case, JBS. The other one, email it, send it off to Greenhams or wherever they're going, Prana sale yards. So this is the beauty about the system. You can print a copy off, give it to the driver if they insist. You can email it directly to the agent, to the buyer, to the abattoir directly. And the only way to do that is by saving it on your hard drive, go into your email and sending the email out to the person receiving this. If the driver, like I said, insists on a copy, then you photocopy it or print it off and send it to them. You can include their details throughout the whole process. You can include their details. You can go back in here and modify, edit any of these sections. Go back to the transporter section, add the transporter details, and they can receive a copy via their email. So a fairly simple process. Another big advantage is if you're part of the process and you have email accounts linked, you get notified. So this is an example one we sent off to one of our customers who I was talking to today. They get this email. So the receiver is an abattoir. They're receiving this email. Click on it. And that's one that I showed you before. So this email is automatically generated. Abattoirs receive it, the feedlots receive it, the sales receive all these emails rather than paper copies. Don't know if you've ever gone into a sale yard and seen all the papers or an abattoir. Now they seem to lose the paper. They're always calling people up. This way here they have a copy. You send them an email. You also receive an email if you're receiving livestock. So someone's put your pick in, so they know who you are by your pick, and it will generate an email to you. So that's it for me. But go in, play with the NLIS system. It's not that difficult. You won't break it, and you get more accustomed to it. And try the EMBD. It's going to save you money in the long run, save you a lot of time, create a template, and everyone will receive the paperwork. They're not having to call you up early in the morning saying, go on and change the data, fix the data up.